This shit's gonna be good. I'm excited for this, man. I think this is like my vibe right here. Welcome back to Original Minds with Dr. Drew. Episode 2, we have a dear brother of mine, somebody who, kind of opened the door for me to even get into, spaces other than what I initially was going into. I think, in my opinion, he's one of the best artists that I've ever listened to, watched, and that's not just with music, with videos, with ideas. He has probably one of the most prolific memories of cultural references. Like, this guy watches movie trailers from the 1980s. And yeah, Joe College.
My brother.
Oh man. So
good to sit down with you too.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a minute for sure. I think I want to start with what we've talked about is, where we're from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how we met and everything like that. Because as much as I'm interviewing you, this is kind of like also interviewing me, just because, how close we are, how we kind of like played into each other's stories. So
right.
We're from Neptune. So for those of you that don't know, it's a very small town. And, my parents are from Trinidad. So we came here, I was there for like middle school, high school. You kind of grew up there. Your parents grew up there.
Mm-hmm.
And can you just talk about Neptune, like for somebody who is completely foreign to it? What was it like where we're from?
Yeah, I was definitely born and raised in Neptune, as well as my parents. And I look at Neptune as just that whole shore area, Neptune Asbury Park. I look at it like it's like a buried diamond. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't really have any direct influences as if, as like a South Jersey or North Jersey, us being from the shore. I just grew up like your typical American kid at a certain time, man. You know what I'm saying? I had both my parents, but I was into sports. Sports was my thing. Sports was everybody's thing in that town. And, with it being such a small town, you had to perform, man. You couldn't.
Yeah.
You had to perform.
We talked about that too, because like when people hear the term like All-American, they think Tom Brady, they think, Brett Favre. But I think like your upbringing and the way you came up was like the Black All-American. Like we had the small town, heavy into the sports, football. People might not know it, but you're like a 2-time champion in football and basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about like what that was like at the time, like being like the quote unquote like jock? You were running things. Like, how was that? Like, how did that influence kind of who you are?
It was a beautiful thing, man. But that's where I first learned about classism. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot just being that. You know what I'm saying? Just being I was the quarterback for my high school team for 2 years starting. Then I played varsity basketball since a freshman. So it was a lot that I got that I didn't necessarily have to work for. You know what I'm saying? So, as I got older and became an adult, the next mission was trying to navigate that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
in the real world.
Yeah.
Because, when you leave, nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? And that was like one of the first big, huge obstacles I had being a young adult. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as I did what I had to do, I got whatever I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And I was performing on the basketball court and on the football field. So, that was a beautiful thing. I definitely championed myself for figuring it out afterwards, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah. And even, the way you're talking about it, like you still had like the understanding, you know what I'm saying? You could still see how that affected you,
right?
Where most people, they don't, you know what I mean? They just still think that, they have a certain entitlement. How did you get into music? Because you're an athlete, right? So you were doing that at the same time. Like we'll put the clip in, but you was battle rapping while being a quarterback, while being a basketball star. So how did the music come into place? Like, how did you think, what, I'm the star basketball dude, the quarterback, but you know what? I want to battle rap. I want to rap.
Right. Man. Well, I would say I'm one of the youngest, I would say grandkids on both sides of my family. You know what I'm saying? And so I have cousins that was born in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, I always was a culture kid. I got cousins born in the 80s. I was pretty much the youngest. So when it comes to anything culture, music, movies, television, whatever, I was locked in. I was all the way in with it. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. to the point I always reference, like my sister went to the mall to see Brandy. Like that's how tapped in we were. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I remember her taping Moesha when it first came on, the first episode. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of many things, you know what I'm saying? But so I think it was just a way to express myself, you know, at a point. I always loved music, but then it came to a time where I wanted my own voice in it, you know, in this culture. Mm-hmm. And I still was gonna play sports, but it was like, you know, young black kid growing up in America, why not write a rap?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like everybody just raps at some point in their life. Like,
and I just happened to be good at it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I kept going. And I think when the blog era hit, it gave me the confidence to be myself more. Mm-hmm. And that's when it really started taking off.
Yeah. And you think the sports kind of made you competitive?
Yeah, for sure. Sports. I mean, with sports, you know, even like with sports, you know, as far as football, when I was young playing football, I was like offensive lineman. Right? So coming into high school, it's like, I'm gonna try to do quarterback, right? Everybody looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're not doing quarterback, you know what I'm saying? You're not playing quarterback, but I was never scared, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you can't tell, as soon as somebody tell me I can't do some shit, I'm gonna do it times 10, you know what I'm saying? So that's what that was. And you know, even being a rapper, being from a small town, you know, many people wanted to say, you don't rap, nigga, you play sports, you don't rap. Yeah. But I made them believe that shit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I made them believe it.
Yeah, so you graduate high school, you know, champ at the school, you know, now you go to college, right? Mm-hmm. You and Quick, shout out to Quick. Mm-hmm. And you start this brand, CIVxSAV, which is really what brought us all together, you know, and what brought me to you too. How did that start? How did you start CIVxSAV?
Just friendship, man, brotherhood, that's all. You know, I always made music. Like I said, I made music in high school. Going into college, I was making music, and my right-hand man was right there, and it was like, whatever you need to help, I'll be there for you. That's basically what he did, you know what I'm saying? So he started taking up media classes. He dropped his major, you know what I'm saying, and picked up a new major, started picking up media classes, started learning how to shoot videos, learning how to do my cover arts and stuff like that. And so, you know, it just came to a point to where it was like, okay, what are we calling this thing that we're doing? You know what I'm saying? And we gave it the name CIVxSAV in 2011.
And how did that, was there anything specifically that, or it just was one of those things that kind of came out of it?
Just culture, man, you know, being like a big Nas fan. Nas said it, if I ruled the world, I civilize every savage. Yeah. And you know, at that point, I was at school, but I was going through a lot at home, and I was just so torn. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that I was around, a lot of stuff that I wasn't around necessarily wasn't who people thought I was, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, you know, I feel like we all have those two sides to it. So that line just stuck out to me, you know what I'm saying? And I just grabbed onto it.
Yeah, so you graduate college. I specifically remember like that post on Instagram when you and Quick had graduated college, like this was like the first wave of like people even graduating. Yeah. You know, you came back and then it was just like full-fledged, like you were going with the CIVxSAV, you dropped the Scullies. Mm-hmm. And I think that was like the first encounter, because, you know, I'm like 3 years younger than y'all. So the first encounter was like those Scullies. And I remember like, they were like cracked. Like everybody wanted one, everybody was talking about it. How was that when you came back, and like, what was the mentality?
Man, when I came back, it was like they like let a dog off the leash, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like everything that I wanted to do while I was in school, now I get to go hard at it, you know what I'm saying? Because at school I had to do
both.
So many things, you know what I'm saying? So, and you know, for some reason I didn't want to quit school. I did, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure I finished that up, and it was like a rock off my chest. It was like, okay, now do what you want. Sometimes, you know, do what you have to, so you can do what you want to, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I was at around 2014.
So you dropped, you know, that's when like it was time, like, all right, Rugged was smooth.
Yeah. So
talk about that.
So I dropped the album. Well, first, the main thing I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? Just because being such a fan of the Nipsey Hussles of the world, I wanted to get my own studio. Mm. So we got our own studio office space, and we was just banging out music, you know what I'm saying? And put together an album called Rugged But Smooth, took it down to Atlanta.
And it was physical CDs, right?
Physical CDs.
I bought one. Yeah, I remember buying one.
CDs. Like, we was outside hand in hand.
Yeah, I remember buying one, and you know, before we really became close, I was like just a fan of the music. Like,
Yeah, man.
I was just a fan of the music. It was just like, wow, like this dude is different, and like the shit you would like speak on was like things we could all relate to. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
This is pre-streaming too.
yeah, pre-streaming.
So, you know, this is like you said, we're really outside hand
Hand in hand. Yeah, I remember buying that
saying?
physical CD and
Right.
like having it in college. Like,
Yeah, man. So we took all of those CDs, shot down to Atlanta to A3C Festival for, you know, just to do some promotion. Because that was the thing, A3C, South by Southwest.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Went down to Atlanta and fell in love with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is like the black all-star game out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah,
you know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? This is the culture
Yeah, this is
all-star
it.
game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, so not much, you know, long after that, we ended up in Atlanta.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I remember you came back, and that's kind of when we kind of had linked up.
Yeah.
And I was in school, you
I
know,
don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I met you right before I left
to
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yep. We was talking, and I was showing you the music, and you just was like, you know, you was all in with me, and it's I haven't known you for that long.
yeah, nah, it was like
Okay.
a couple weeks.
You play instruments, you do your thing, you learning how to make beats. You know, but just being home for me at that time, it was like I was living out a bag. I just wouldn't accept it. I wouldn't accept being home.
That this was your fate.
Yeah, I wouldn't accept it. You know what I'm saying? And that was playing a part. You know, it was taking a toll on my mental health. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's why I advise anybody that whatever situation you in, just accept it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't run
Accept
from it.
Yeah, accept it.
Process it.
And then work. You know what I mean? But I just was running from it. I did not want to be there. So I had to make a move, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, definitely. So you came, you know what I mean? We kind of got together. We was like every summer we would just like kind of link back up.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, yo, like I'm about to learn how to make beats. Like, and I had the garage band. You just always had like open arms. Like you never was like, oh, like this dude's trash. Like you always was like, yo, pull up to the studio. Like you saw like that I just wanted to like
Right.
to be a part of it, and just like you saw my passion for the music itself.
Right.
You know, like we just had certain conversations, and then just like from there it was just like
The main thing was your fresh mind, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I wanted to do on the production side
Mm-hmm.
that some of my peers that I was working with, they wouldn't do it
yeah.
because it was against the rules of,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
of
for
the
sure,
music
for
thing.
sure.
Which you was like, you was gonna try it, like, yo,
Yeah.
try to loop this up, let's do this.
Yeah.
You wasn't like, oh, I don't know if we can.
Yeah,
You was looping
exactly.
at it, you know, we was making that shit work.
Yup.
Yeah, and the fresh mind, it was like, you know, that was the greatest gift that you gave to me at that time.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
And like I said, you gave me, like you kind of brought me into that world, right? Because I just was like, all right, I'm gonna be a dentist.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna just do this. And like I was going through the process, going through school, doing that. And like I believed in it so much that I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm about to get a song on here. Like I don't care if I have to like
Man.
not study for this shit
Yeah.
and like just pass it.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting on this fucking album.
Yeah.
But
And you know, that's not something that you can explain to anybody.
nah, you can't.
It
Nah,
was
like
there,
everybody
it
was
wasn't.
looking at me like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we start building like studio like every night.
Mhm.
You know, I'm learning skills. Q was going crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Q Dot. Like he's nuts, man. That's a brother of ours too. And Pizza Parlay,
Yeah.
All Mine, the song you dropped with Q.
Right.
And I think that just sparked us. And
Right.
talk about that journey and that like kind of the snowball that kind of built up to everything.
Right. So what that was, I came home from Atlanta, and I was, you know, me and you were trying to create a sound
Mm-hmm.
based off like, you know, the 80s R&B and the keys and keyboards and
Yeah,
stuff
melody.
like that. We were trying to make a sound. Q was doing his thing. At that time, Q was seasoned. You know, he was becoming an expert at what he was doing.
Technician.
Yeah, so, you know, he would just send me stuff in, but I was working closely with you. And at the end of that year, we went to Miami Art Basel. Remember that?
That's crazy.
Man, and you know, being out there with knowledge, it was like, it just gave me a more worldly view of like, okay. And you know what it was? It was that feeling again, okay, you somebody where you at. But like, who are you really?
Yeah.
So I'm out there just looking around like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
That
it's
was-
time.
yeah,
You know what I
that-
mean?
that
I was
was-
feeling like it was
yeah.
time. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
remember
time
that.
to really,
Yep.
really blow the doors off the shit. You know what I'm saying? So me and Quick, we had a long talk and a long walk down South Beach, and we was like, yo, when we get back home, it's just like all gas, no brakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Came home, so now we at the top of 2017. Came home, we started throwing events. That was our. So we had the music, we had the clothes, we had the events. Brought it full circle. That was the Holy Trinity. We started building up community, and that's the most important thing in music, art, and anything. Community. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to create around people, but you have to have a community that's building up the energy. You know what I'm saying? For you to make the product that you're making, because you're not just sitting at home just getting these life experiences. You have to go out and be around,
Yeah, and you came back, the events were going, and I remember it was like literally a build. Like
it was a
first
build.
It was like, all right, doing the video,
all I want.
Doing the music. Then it's like we had the show at
wait, you zipping through. Yeah. So we did the video, did pizza parlay, we did a pop-up shop.
Yeah, the pop-up shop.
With the video outside. We bought the town out. We was renting the movie theater out, bringing people out, you know what I mean? And then we were just inviting people to basically our home,
exactly,
too.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like sports gambling all day, just hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Just building a community. And then summertime, we had the show at the Saint, sold that shit out, and that was like,
that was a movie.
Yeah, that was like, I think that's when everybody else started seeing like, wow.
And that was the first time where like, I kind of started to see like stuff that I was working on with you, like kind of manifest into a show. And then that's when I was like, yo, like backstage, I'm like, yo, like this is bro right here. Like the crowd knows every word. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. And then people got to realize, I think it was like 120 is the capacity. We selling that out. You know, that's crazy.
That's
you know
crazy.
What I mean? Especially at that time,
crazy.
It's like, wow, hundreds of people.
They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it.
And people got turned away. So it would have been more, but this is all that fit in that little spot.
Yep. And
it went perfect.
Yeah.
Everything was just
great.
Perfect. It was just going perfect. Yep. But I don't remember a hiccup.
Yep. And then you sold out House Independent.
So wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So we're going through the summer. I think that's when you had gotten to. You started having to study more. You started. I don't know if you started dental school around that time.
I probably did. I got accepted literally when we landed in Art Basel.
Right.
Like we landed in Art Basel. Like as soon as the airplane mode came off, I loaded my email and I got accepted. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So you got accepted.
Like it's lit. And then I started the next year.
Right. You got accepted. The summer was winding down.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of stuff, me and you.
Yeah,
beats,
we did,
songs, everything. Me and Q had some stuff too. But we needed something else, man. And we linked up a party.
Shout out to
Party. And Party. Yeah, Party Michael, shout out to Party Michael. He took not everything. He took a lot of stuff that we did.
Yeah.
And he put that seal on it. You know what I'm saying?
He had the stamp on it.
Because you were novice. Like we was killing it.
Novice.
We was killing it, but it was like we needed that.
And I was relieved when you found him, because I'm like, thank God, like, because a lot goes into like that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's engineering, literally.
Right.
So like I wanted to make stuff for you, but I knew like, all right, I'm not there yet. But when he came, I was just able to kind of be more like composer and kind of like get him in his own, like, yo, this is what he wants.
Right.
Like, this is what we've been working on. Like, tune this shit in. You know what I mean? And then CIVxSAV forever.
Right. So,
go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So I'm working, we're working with Party, just building up a rhythm.
Yeah.
Building up a rhythm, learning how to record all night and learning how to make beats, record right then and there.
And work ethic.
What I'm saying? Don't go home and write right then and there. Just building up a work ethic. Then one day, me and you and Quick is in the studio. You pull up a beat that we had. Yeah. Right? We had it.
I think so.
I think you started making it a little better, but it's something we had. It's definitely something we had.
Yeah,
something we had. Right. So we just having fun. I'm just rapping some old shit I had, just rapping that I never put out. We put it on Instagram, and that became probably my biggest shit to this day.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
What
I'm saying? Like,
that's crazy.
The forever freestyle.
Yeah.
And that shit right there was like that extra catapult we needed.
And it was just so organic, because it was showing too kind of like the synergy we had. Like it just showed like, yo, these is dudes in the studio, like really just vibing, not giving a fuck. it doesn't sound perfect.
Right, it wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? But they just having fun. Like, I
Right.
want to be around these guys.
Right, and it wasn't even a song.
It wasn't, nah.
But the love and everything poured in so fast. It was like, okay, we have to do something now.
Yeah, fact.
We're working on an album, but no, we have to put something out now. So
Yeah.
I made it a song. We gave them 4-piece, which was a 4-song EP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it was a snowball effect, man. We were just rolling, and that all rolled into January 2018 when we threw the show House Independence in Asbury. 500 people sold it out, and it was like that was just a product of everything we were doing.
Yeah, the manifestation.
A year and a half, 2 years.
That was crazy. Like, I remember just like being on stage, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, packed out show, everybody knew every word.
Right, and the album
And it
had
was
been
all
out for 4
out
days.
for 4 days.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole production. Like, we had the balloons, we had the like skits in the middle.
Yeah.
That, man, like you can't take that away from
Right.
anybody. And I'm gonna always remember that, like,
Me
till I
too.
die. Like,
I
that's
remember a day like it's yesterday.
like whatever work we put in, it was worth it just for that.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
what's crazy, I was thinking the other day, you can't try to do that.
No, you
You
can't.
just have to work, put your head down, work. Like, that wasn't our plans.
Nah.
6
sell
months
out.
before
Yeah,
that, it wasn't our
it
plan.
wasn't.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just was like,
Day to day.
we put in so much work, and Quick put in so much work with the brand. I remember us selling T-shirts every day before, like the last 6 days before the show. Every day, just, people coming by buying T-shirts. So when you look in the crowd, everybody has a T-shirt on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in the back. I'm backstage, just warming up. You know what I'm saying? And y'all come in the back like, yo, there's nowhere to stand out there. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I said, you bullshitting. There's no room to stand. He said, yo, and this is like a half hour before the show started.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, there's nowhere to stand. And then my mom came backstage and she confirmed it, like, yo, there's nowhere to stand out there. I'm like, wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to definitely check out that CIVxSAV Forever. We did a movie on that.
Yeah.
Check that out. We'll put the link in the bio. Yeah, so boom, fast forward. Okay, we're all up north now, right? So.
Right. I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
being home, I go through this obviously every couple of years.
Yeah.
So after that, I was still working, and it became a point where I started feeling like a big fish in a small pond, and that's no disrespect to my, to anybody in my area, in my town, but it became.
But it is a small town.
Yeah,
like,
it became
we're not in Atlanta. We're not in New York. Like,
right. It became a point that where it was like, okay, you've exhausted
everything you could
the
do.
possibilities there, and it felt like the walls was closing in a little bit. So when we got up and went to LA, and LA was just, soul searching. Really,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just trying to figure it out, just over there. Met some good people over there, shot back. And then, like you said, eventually we ended up North Jersey, which was a great move, you know what I mean? A lot of great artists and creatives up North Jersey, so.
Yeah, so I remember still, we had it kind of going again, right? Where we had events, we started to kind of network with other kind of like-minded people who were doing events and stuff and music, but now in North Jersey. I think very quickly it just also escalated, like the Dress Fest part 2 was like
that was crazy.
And I think everybody really just kind of gravitated towards you, how they always usually do. And then eventually you build relationships, and now this time, I'll let you kind of talk about it, but now you work on your kind of latest album with the Loop Group. Shout out to them. Yeah, and once again, you make a classic.
Yeah, man, I feel like, coming up here was a blessing because I feel like it was, especially Loop Group, we're very like-minded.
Yeah, for sure.
Individuals. So, I met Dan Battle, I met Shotty, and we sat down and we just started creating, man. And it went back to, when I was working with you, especially working with Shotty, because it's like if I say, yo, let's sample this, it's not, I don't know if we could do that. It's like such a fresh mind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he's gonna try to do it. Yeah. He's gonna do some shit. They're gonna do some shit that don't make sense to everybody. Yeah. And it's gonna sound beautiful. Yeah. And that's what John Blaze ended up being. You know what I'm saying? John Blaze was the last album we put out. We worked on it. Yeah, we worked on it for about a year. Created a little character, really with John, with the John Blaze character where I wore the same outfit every time. like a cartoon character type of situation. And we made a beautiful album, 10 songs. Got it sounding exactly how we envisioned it. Cause that's what I do. Like when I go and make some music, I think about the videos, I think about the album cover, I think about everything like that while I'm making the album. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If it just was make songs, I don't know if I would be doing this. You know what I'm saying? I see everything while I'm creating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm a culture kid, so I see the whole movie behind it, and I feel like the music was a direct reflection of the thoughts that I had in my head.
You know, you directed videos. You know, we kind of worked on a lot of stuff too, with that, and just like the references we had.
Yeah.
Talk about, you know, your last videos, because I think it's definitely now.
Yeah.
It's a lot different.
Yeah, I shot about 6 videos. So first one, I shot a video called Out the Gate. I shot this about 2 weeks before we dropped the album. And that was a play on Oliver Stone's movie, Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
If you see in the video, I'm on a motorcycle and we had the projection in the back, just going through, you know, different cities and stuff like that. Cause, you know, Mickey and Mallory, the 2 main characters from the movie, they want to run the whole movie. So I just wanted to take it up another notch. Kind of like, it was more like a stream of consciousness. Everything that was going on in my head was being projected on the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the first video. And then, I don't know if you were going to ask me about this, but something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was definitely about to get there.
Yeah, so after I shot that video, something
happened.
So
you shoot the video, drop the album, and it was just like this energy. I remember like, all right, because it's been a while since you dropped.
Yeah.
You know, so you dropped the album, and then like the night of your birthday, we go out, you know what I'm saying? We was in New York. We went to Planted Queen.
Yeah.
Then we went to like some escape house after, and it was like a snowy night. And yeah, we all go home. I remember, you know, everybody kind of went their separate ways. And then I wake up in the morning like, yo, like college got in an accident. Like, I was like, what? Like everybody's like, what the fuck? And like, it was bad. You know what I'm saying? You know, you broke your hip. You literally could have died.
Yeah, I was all fucked up.
You could have died. And this was like right after you dropped the album. How did that affect you? Because you kind of were getting right back up started again. And then, you know, the healing process, and then also where you're at now, and how that event put you in a certain space moving forward.
Yeah, man, that night was crazy. I still see that shit every day. I think it just changed me in the sense of where it was like, you know, even to this day, I don't rush, but you know, time is precious, man.
Yeah,
like you never know. You know what I'm saying? It gave me a little bit more of an urgency with things, you know what I'm saying? Because I almost wasn't here, literally. Yeah, and you know, and then you go into this state to where, you know, I couldn't move. I literally couldn't walk out my front door, you know what I'm saying? So I had to be mentally strong, and I had to trust myself, and I had to realize that one day I'm gonna be okay. I had to see 6 months ahead. I had to think about that shit every day because
day by day.
It was enough to make me go crazy.
Yeah.
I broke my leg, my hip, my pelvis, everything. So I couldn't do anything. I had to rehab and stuff like that. But
you still shot videos.
Yeah, still, yep. So
videos.
The next video actually was my friends visiting me, man, bringing me, you know, flowers and all that shit. We shot the video perfect timing in my house. I was on the crutches in the wheelchair. So, you know, just turning the negative into a positive. And you know, the shit kind of slowed me down though. I might have been moving a little too fast, you know what I mean? So it kind of slowed me down, and you know, it just made things more mental for me than physical.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So like I said, we shot the perfect timing video. That was a big hit. People loved that. And then, you know, I spent the rest of the summer just trying to get better.
So, you know, now we're here, you know, you dropped that project. It's been a year?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's been a year
and a couple
already.
months, I know.
Yeah, but you've always been somebody that like, you never like, every artist has this goal, right? To make it to the big leagues, kind of be this big, huge star, get the cosign, get the record deal. And like, you always didn't care about that shit.
Yeah.
Like you always like anytime somebody would even reach out to you, like, you know, whether it was a celebrity, like, yo, pull up to here and like do the show. Like you never had a hunger or drive to really just like be in the limelight or just be a star just cause like, like where does that come from?
That's a good question.
And how do you view like doing your music as a career? Like, is it?
I think it's just from knowledge of self, man. I just know myself.
Yeah.
And I know whatever blocks my freedom to create is detrimental to me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, my goal was to always just be the best me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to be the best me and make the best music that I can make. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wanted to come and drop a bag like, yo, you know what I mean? Do this. That always kind of not scared me, but it always threw me off because what comes with that is but do it like this, do it like
exactly.
that. You know what I mean? Some type of
Compromising.
yeah. Which I understand is business.
Yeah.
I understand it. You know what I'm saying? But I just know me as a creative. You know, I'm a real creative. I can't just work when somebody says work. You know what I mean? Like I literally feel it when it's time to make something new. You know what I mean? And I can only make stuff that I feel. I can't make stuff that anybody else want me to make. Cool. I can't. I know myself. I wish I could.
Yeah, I know.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and even money, you know what I'm saying? We all love money, we want money, but I never gave a fuck about money. I never could do some shit good for money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you want to do things and you want to make money. Like, don't get me wrong, you want to make money, but
it's not a driving motivating factor.
Never. I never was in love with it. I never, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know, moving forward, like kind of where you at now, and moving forward, like I know you started a new brand, you know, a low profile. Mm-hmm. You always had like a good style. You always had your own style. And it's always been very simple. It's something like, you know, we know you for, you know what I mean? So I see kind of where you're going now with a low pro, trying to like really package that. Right. And just tell us about what we can expect from you.
So I'm working on a new album. It should be out soon.
That's good news.
It's called The Mix at 6. It's my first time saying it.
That's it.
It's called The Mix at 6.
The Mix at 6.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, I'm working on that. And it's really just my brainchild, my baby. I'm definitely proud of that. Going back to my roots a little bit, you'll notice when you hear it. And like you said, I created, a low profile. A low profile is just people, places, and things, man. It's about traveling. It's about being off the grid, being off the radar, being wherever. You can be outside and have a low profile. You can be in the house and have a low profile. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a brand being based off of being out the way, being in the cut. You know what I'm saying? Being somewhere you aren't or you wouldn't normally be. You know what I'm saying? So we doing that and just getting better physically and mentally. I think all creatives need to realize it starts there.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the music is just a reflection of kind of what we are dealing with inside, whether it's from pain or whether it's from like a healthier or more stable mind frame. But
yeah, man, because it's like, anytime I wasn't able to create, it's because I wasn't right physically or mentally. Mm. You know what I'm saying? And it's something I struggle with. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just my nature, but I live in my head. Yeah. So, I just encourage all, creatives to get right physically and mentally, and everything else should fall in place. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm finally there, post-accident. So The Mix at 6 is going to be that. It's going to be the one, man. It's going to be that shit.
I'm excited, man. Yeah. I definitely got to show me that. Yeah. Two things, we'll touch on before we kind of close, but you talk about knowledge itself. I think for us, that means something different, right, than the general population. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we kind of, as brothers, have in common. Mm-hmm. We don't eat the same things. Right. We kind of have the same outlook on things, like equal, you know what I mean, in everything. And we do have like influence from like the 5%, which is something that we're not that, but there's definitely an influence, right? Especially like like you mentioned earlier, Knowledge Bennett, who kind of just, I feel like it just gives us a certain way we like look at things. So do you feel like how has that kind of influenced you, and do you see that like how it makes us kind of a little bit
for sure
different?
For sure, because like I said earlier, I know myself, and it's about knowing the ledge, man. It's a lot of stuff that I might have wished I had or wished I was doing at some point, but realistically, now that I'm older, I'm glad that I didn't get those opportunities, because I know myself. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm willing to put up with. I know where I come from, and I just know myself through and through. So I think that's how the outside world looks at it. I think we can go deeper with it, but I think that's how the outside world looks at it, man. Just knowing who you are at the core of yourself. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a leader.
Yeah, and your origin, and knowing what I'm saying?
It starts there. It starts from knowing, where humans come from, but then it goes deeper from, knowing, your family, how you were raised, and just your the traits that you have as a human. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the knowledge itself is my driving force, and it's the reason I'm still here. Yeah. It's a lot of ways I would have went if I didn't know the ledge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's like peace, we grow up in a small town, and I tell my nephew to this day, you can't avoid mistakes. Like, you're gonna make mistakes in your life, but you're not gonna be a follower though.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not gonna be a follower. So, you know, I feel like that's the best thing I have going is knowledge of self.
But yeah, you know, so we got the mix at 6.
Mm-hmm. Mix
That's
at
coming,
6.
a low pro. You know, I'm looking forward to it. We haven't talked in a while, so it's good to sit with you.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, man, like you bringing me in and kind of open me up to a world is why I'm even doing things like this. You
Yeah,
know what I
man.
mean? And the brotherhood that we have, you know, shout out to Quick and the rest of the guys. It just makes you kind of have no fear. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like at the end of the day, you know, we have each other.
Right.
And you need that. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
thank
And
you.
you're the reason I'm still doing it.
Yeah, we're going to keep it going.
If it wasn't for that time that we just talked about, I probably would have stopped.
Yeah. I remember you even talking about it.
Yeah. I think that's where I was at. I was there with it. Like,
I was like, fuck. Like, nah, man, you can't. Like,
so you sparked something. You have the fresh energy, man. We used to call you Spider, man. You were so excited. You were so excited, man. And I feel like that's most important, man. Is keep people around you that's excited.
Yeah, nah, for
You know
sure,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Peace, man. You heard it here first. Joe College, Original Minds, episode 2.
Peace.
Peace.